So I'm in Karlstad just picking up chickens for a one-off drop to Stockholm for a collaboration with Min Farm. It's a local distribution company that does food boxes from about 40 farms around Stockholm to consumers in the area. We're doing a special one-off drop-off of chickens for one of their boxes, as partly in collaboration with Elin, who was our chef in the first year, amazing young woman who's just powerhouse, and she's involved in Min Farm working on their recipes, etc. But I thought I'd take the opportunity to go and drop in on some old friends under Tarlana, under the pines. Well, it's minus 28 in here and I didn't bring a jacket. But luckily, I'm just picking up this pallet here. You can see this is where we stockpile a bunch of turkeys, beautiful turkeys here, as well as chickens for sale throughout the winter. Now, we've just been in contact with a group of Americans who are living here in Sweden, and obviously Thanksgiving is a big thing for them, and so we're going to explore the possibility of supplying them all with good turkeys, because you can't get good turkeys here in Sweden. But basically I'm going to transfer these boxes onto Kanga boxes, and I'm on my way to Stockholm. I'm going to get out of here now. Okay, frozen chicken delivered. Kanga boxes did good. I'm off to see my buddies. Here in Jana with Robin and Ozzy, and these two are brothers, and we met in 2012. Yeah. Apparently. These guys have an awesome little place, very social enterprise with beautiful veg production and a whole bunch of other stuff going on, including this earth-sunken greenhouse. So we're going to catch coffee and have a look around, see how it's going for them. Wow. So we're sitting in this beautiful, this is like, what would you call it? It's not a wallapini, it's a sunken in greenhouse, earth-sheltered greenhouse.
Yeah. It's a solar greenhouse. I don't know.
Yeah. Like this is basically a brick wall stuck into the earth, right?
Yeah.
And then that's an insulated roof?
No.
It's just a roof?
Just the roof.
And we're facing south that way?
Yeah.
And this was actually your seeding room, wasn't it? But then it's turned into a social space as well.
Yeah.
It could be, it's designed to be both a social room. We could have a party in here, or a dinner, or we have parties and dinners and meetings and like
events of different kinds.
I see you got a sound system.
Yeah.
But is this where you would do all your spring starts?
Yeah.
Before the season gets going? And
started in February, January.
Okay, so pretty early.
Yeah.
You're in a similar climate zone to us, but that's an early start.
Yeah, but it's also starting with microgreens.
Right. So your micros are going more in the spring to restaurants?
Yeah.
And you just run them in on these racks in the back there, in multi-layers?
Yeah.
And you were doing like fava bean and stuff like that, weren't you? And some
fava beans and peas in the main, and radishes.
Like, what did you start out with? Because you started up, and your focus was you're a chef by trade, and you're a veg grower from training at Ridgedale here.
Yeah.
So what was your mission when you set out?
Yeah, to glue them together.
Yeah.
To I felt like the restaurant world and the gardens in Sweden was so far away from each other.
So
like no understanding for each other. And our family has a like farming background, and that's my interest for starting to cook came from. Like in a way glue them together.
So it's getting people into contact. It's a big social element too, right? So it's getting people into contact with food, and then how to process that food, and how that food is part of the center of social things. And
and get to know soil and get to know the earth.
So how's it developed? Has it developed how you imagined, or has it gone off in directions that you didn't anticipate?
Yeah, it's the boat. It's mainly on track, I think. So the vision is still intact, but it's been many side missions.
Yeah. Maybe you can just tell the viewers, so what does Under Tallarna mean, and what's the story of this place? Like a lot of people won't be speaking Swedish.
No. So Under Tallarna is meaning under the pine trees, and the pine trees biologically was the first tree after the ice age to Sweden, the first big trees, and it's really making rock to soil through a strong mycorrhizal.
They're growing in little lenses on rock, aren't they? Basically,
exactly.
when you see trees coming down in the forest, they're growing on nothing.
So they're really making soil. It's always pioneers who breaks new soil. So and we want to pay respect to all those pioneers. That makes it possible for us. And also.
And you're pioneering too.
Yeah.
So it's got its meanings there. So you guys have been here since like 5-6 years?
Yeah.
Same time as we've been running our farm, pretty much. And so you got 3, how big's the site? It's
1.8 hectares.
1.8 hectares, and the gardens, do you know how many square meters of beds you're running?
1,300 square meters.
1,300 square meters?
Yeah.
And you guys are doing really good now. We're about, how far are we from Stockholm? Like half an hour drive from Stockholm.
Half an hour.
And this is like the cultural centre of the Biodynamic Association, you could say.
Yeah. Not really this place, but...
No, not this little farm in particular, but this area has got a lot of alternative people and good food and people seeking alternatives in the way out of Stockholm.
70 years of organic farming, I think.
Yeah. But it's an area of cultural importance, I'd say, and it's where we actually lived when we first came to Sweden. We lived in Gnesta, which is very close by, and so there's a whole group of people engaged in like social things and food things. And But can you tell us a little bit more, like how does it work out economically for you? That's a pretty small area that you're working on, but you're making a really good turnover from it.
Yeah, getting better and better. And it's been a long learning curve. And also adjusting to it, but it looks really good from the market garden.
You're doing about 500,000 crowns?
Yeah.
That's about 50,000 euros of sales from 1,300 square meters in 6-7 months, basically. Yeah. And what's the model? You have CSA kind of, but self-service CSA in a way.
Yeah.
So down in the packing station, you can see here all the vegetables are laid out, and this is open 2 till 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And that happens every
Wednesday.
Just Wednesday?
Yeah.
So that's happening every Wednesday, and customers come and you see on the chalkboard they can just select the vegetables they are allotted that season, and they've obviously paid up front for the season, which is what, 20 boxes or
24.
24. They're eking the season out here. Yeah. What is this thing?
Germination chamber. So
what's the idea of that?
To really stabilize the germination of all the seeds.
So you can control the temperature and...
Yeah. And also during the summer when it gets really hot in here, it stays stable on 25 degrees. Yeah. So then we have a stable germination still. Because when it's 30 degrees, it's not
ideal. What temperature does this keep in the winter? Like, do you notice any retention of heat?
Like, if we don't heat it, it just stay around 0 or a bit under.
Even when it's minus whatever?
Yeah, I've been here when it's been like 15 minus outside, and I walk in and it's like 0.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
And we have this pipe underneath the soil, like 35 meter, who brings in air all the time, and it gets a bit heated in
warmed up from being
the
deep
winter,
under.
and in the summer it comes cooler air.
Yeah.
But we need to get some shade cloth in the summer.
Yeah, to put over the front. You build it out of a lot of recycled material also, no?
Yeah, but like half a year, like over the winter.
I remember, I think when I was last here, it was a hole in the ground and you were putting massive boulders on the back wall.
Yeah.
So you did a lot of work on that.
Yeah.
And you would just put shade cloth over the top of that in summer to keep it cool, and then you could still use it for seeding and yeah. That's awesome. So these guys have made up their own caterpillar towns. They look awesome. Now you've done that on the super cheap, no? So you bent your own hoops?
Yeah.
And then what have you done for all the pieces like that you would typically get from Farmer's Friend or whatever?
Yeah, this one's
That's what you hold up the plastics?
yeah.
Super simple.
Yeah.
And just
And
little
the
hook brackets.
hooks,
But that's sweet.
You
Nice.
see this
It's just galvanized bracket.
like €1 thing, and this as hook.
So it's like a 20-meter tunnel that costs you what?
7,000.
It's like 700 euros?
euro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And you've had no trouble with the storms or winds?
Yeah.
Perfect. They're so stable, aren't they, in
Yeah.
strong winds?
But this only came in 6 meters, so they're a bit low
Right.
than the ones you have.
I see, because and ours are really nice because they have a vertical
Yeah.
end,
Yeah.
so you really get
And
a lot of volume.
That would cost like a lot to make that.
Right. This
Yeah.
is standard length.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is standard length.
Yeah, but they're good enough, no?
Yeah, and we can source that local. So
Yeah. So you guys are working on 75 centimeter beds
Yeah.
and lots of compost, no dig style.
Yeah. No big stuff.
And you had to tell us you had some big problems with compost supply. You actually used the same supplier we did, but it turns out they have different recipes.
Yeah.
So this is the bed compost.
Sawdust kind of wood chip. And what was in there?
Sawdust.
But it was no good. No? So you put down like a lot of compost and then had to rip it up again, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you've got some good stuff from local farms.
Double spring work.
That looks more like the ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
So that really set
underneath
you
we
back
have
more.
a really clay soil.
Heavy soil here.
Yeah, so it's
This part of Sweden is just it's homogeneous clay,
Yeah.
no? It's all the farms around here go bone dry in the summer.
yeah,
I imagine all the pastures stop growing, no? And
yeah. It's been a tough summer.
tough summer.
Yeah,
But
But
that
I'm-
compost looks really nice. Is that
Yeah.
from the cow farm?
yeah.
Yeah.
And start to work with them is like the best thing
Yeah.
you could wish for. Yeah. But
They've
now,
got like
now
80,
it's
90 head of cows or something?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
but
perfect.
it's now it's just getting them get the whole compost heated, so we get less weeds in the compost.
Yeah.
But
So
now
you're
we-
going to start working with them to manage the compost being made properly?
Yeah, we start talking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and what to put in the stables.
Yeah.
What materials to.
Can you
So-
get torf really cheap?
Yeah,
Like
so
PFAS?
this is built on torv.
Yeah.
In deep,
That's what we've got this year, and we mixing our chicken and cow. We've keep them separated, like cow and torv, and chicken
Yeah.
and torv. And I thought it didn't look so great, but I've just been looking under the microscope, and it looks great. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna mix them together now, but it looks like this stuff.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Torv is such a good.
Yeah,
Basis. But that mix up with your compost this year, that set you back a bit in your productions.
yeah.
Yeah. How's that impacted you economically? And will it cut your revenue this year, do you think? With
Yeah.
the drought as well?
Yeah, but we didn't aim that high, so I think we like maybe get above what we wished for,
Okay.
even. though the drought and the setback, but it's mostly like it was tough for us. It's like, so,
all the hours. It's gonna hold water a lot better, and also have a better start. And
are you doing like totally no dig?
Yeah.
Is that your? Can we have a look at some of the beds and
should we
just show folks?
look where we turned over the most times?
Yeah. So they're short little beds. Are you cropping all?
Yeah, we can crop the whole bed out in 1 week. So
it's planned for weekly harvest.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
so all your beds are the same size
8 meters.
Yeah.
We went to the local blacksmith, I don't know, and they made like 10 more, and we've been selling them to friends who started gardens.
Yeah.
And
it's good
schools.
for clay soil.
Yeah, it looks heavy duty with that extra side tine, giving it strength like that. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
And this cart is how you move stuff around?
Yeah, we can fill this one, and it goes
over the beds?
over the bed.
Like it, that's how you get compost down efficiently.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So,
pretty simple.
super simple.
Yeah.
So,
I bet that saved you a ton of work now.
yeah.
Love it.
And it's just simple.
This is the old cow manure with peat moss bedding. It's beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Look at that. It smells like forest floor. It's got a good structure already, even, but it's a lot of worms coming in here. Very nice.
Yeah, so
this is sort of thing that's
what we ended up with.
It's hard to find in Sweden.
Yeah,
yeah.
Very hard for us to find good compost here, so this is perfect.
So that's if we want people to work no dig, then we need to show people how to make good compost.
Yeah,
as well.
I've been telling people there's a good business for someone that makes big scale good compost.
Hopefully Joe gets to it.
Yeah.
And also the bigger farmers, I think.
Yeah.
How's it been used for you guys for insects this year? What are your typical insect strategies?
Just insect netting.
Yeah.
We don't use nothing else. Yeah. Just
Do you want to show us how you do with some of your beds? Okay, so you got multi-span insect nets.
It's less work.
Yeah.
So here's arugula. Just planted.
Look, rocket without a single flea beetle.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We're coming there.
So you're getting the covers on as soon as you seed over all the beds,
Yeah.
and you're seeding all this block at once, basically.
We do five bed blocks.
Or we just move. We have this 5-block netting, and we seed 2, and
Just
then
put the net out.
when the next bed is empty, we see that, and we move.
And just keep moving the net outwards. Yeah.
So, and then we can, when this is harvest, we can move it.
What's this down here? How's this set up?
We have this. What do you call it?
Like this header pipe is coming. Is that
From
a
the
gravity?
pond.
Oh, it's from the pond.
Yeah. So it's
So the pond is just over here, and that's fed by water coming out of the forest, basically, and down the gully.
Yeah.
So then, how do you get it around the garden?
We have a main line through like the garden, and we have like this outlets every 10 meters, so we can hand water the whole area with this pipe.
So is everything hand watered?
Kind of. We have some sprinklers, but because we have kind of this clay soil, we don't need to water that heavily the whole garden. We can okay, now we planted these beds.
You
now
water
we
stuff
water
in
this.
and then just
Yeah.
leave it alone.
Yeah.
That's
and
amazing.
then we take like a third of the garden with the more heavy water for one day, but that's take like half an hour, or I don't know.
That's awesome.
So it's not a big deal.
It's not a big part of your day.
And it's a high pressure pump, so this
it's putting water down.
Putting out lots of water.
Yeah, that's awesome. So watering's really not that big of a deal for you.
No.
What sort of crops are you growing for the CSA? Like, what have you found customers are wanting?
With more carrots, more beets, more turnips, more radishes, salads. Simple, nice crops that people really enjoy.
I've seen like maybe 25 varieties, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or more, maybe.
Yeah, but it's, before we tried to grow everything all the time, but now we okay, we don't grow this for the summer, we grow it for the autumn.
So specializing down.
Select the season, so it's easier.
Now you had, when I was here years ago, you had your market gardens on this side over here, and they've migrated over here. What was the main reason for that?
Because it was really heavy clay over there, and it was also where we wanted to do this, easier to make.
Logistics. Maybe.
Like the layout and orientation of it.
And we wanted to work with the forest edge and put in a perennial garden. So we worked.
So it naturally fits on the next to
the
the
landscape.
So extend the forest edge.
Yeah.
Of the garden.
Something I see here that I see at our own garden is all these fungi. And that's something you get with no dig that you don't get in a tillage-based system, because fungi are the first thing to go when you till, where you're selecting for bacteria. So this is what you used to irrigate. It's filling off the channel that comes down from the forest. It's basically bare rock. You can see around the site on the drone footage, it's all just bare rock around here. So a lot of flow coming down the hill that's directed here. And then you guys are growing azolla I bet that's really helping stop evaporation in the summer.
It's a clay pond. We haven't a liner or something.
Yeah. So I was actually here when was it you dug it? I was here when it was being constructed.
Yeah, 2013.
And there's one more pond up at the top there, isn't there? This beautiful homogeneous clay they have here around Stockholm, which has its pros and cons, but it's good for building ponds like this. Yeah. But I love this azolla. So this is not living through the winter here, so you've kept it alive just a small amount in a fish tank in the back of the greenhouse, and then that multiplies up to this throughout the summer. Yeah, it's epic.
Yeah.
Someone was asking about the evaporation in our pond, and I showed you in the pond that we never pumped from, we got about I'd say 25 centimeters of evaporation over the summer. But with a covering like this, you not only get zero evaporation, but you also get clean water, living water, and you get a lot of food that could be fed to chickens or ducks, etc. So this is the guy that gave you the azolla. He was at the Stockholm University.
Yeah, he's an artist and works.
So he was looking into whether you could use the azolla to make food.
Yeah, and discovering it different ways and studying it.
Cool.
The azolla cookbook.
And Mikkel's book here?
Yeah.
So Mikkel wrote a book about natural forestry, sort of Lübeck-based forestry here in Sweden. It's in Swedish. Yes. But it's a good book. Check it out if you're Swedish. You guys are really into recycling. This is a bit of a cow barn. They found all this amazing like cookers and fridges and sinks, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Working on a low budget.
Yeah, but it's also a really good restaurant level shape. It's like proper stove, like.
Well, that's what you need as a chef, no?
Yeah.
So it's a bit like, I can imagine you have events at night times, and this is like a really nice dance area.
So we had a big party with 400 people.
400?
Yeah.
Wow.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Amazing. And these guys are normally speaking Swedish all the time. I know, I know it's tough to, I think people will really appreciate like the effort to speak in English and try and translate some of your thoughts into English. That's really cool. But you have like people that connect to this place that are interested in veg production, farming, and then you have people connected to the social element and
and to food, to like culinary.
Do Do you feel like it really is obvious to people when they come here, like the connection you're able to draw between both? Is that like an emphasis on the event, so to really show people where the food is coming from and like from field to fork, as it were?
Yeah, I think the place has the aura of it, and I think we had storytelling around this during the years, but could be even better. But we're trying to the soil as the bottom layer of everything we do, so that needs to be in the aura in anything. So even if it's a men's group thingy, it's about what planet are we on. Some kind of, even if we're here to dance, we need to taste it and feel where it all begins.
How many people come through here in a year, do you reckon?
We talk. It's hard to, but it's 4,000 or 5,000 people, I think.
Keeps you busy, no?
Yeah, keeps us busy. But it's.
What do your summer hours look like? Like, how many hours do you reckon you guys work a week?
So we spend our days here. We walk between those, but
it's kind of
in some way it gets less and less work because we get more and more like focused on what we're doing, and it gets like we can go home on a Friday and feel like we can leave the job here, and that's cool.
But then you just have to come back on Saturday and do an event.
Or open the greenhouse and go and swim, or work a whole day. So it's.
You work a full week to get the sort of veg production that you're doing. But it sounds like that thing where work and rest and play, they actually just become so entwined that you can't really separate them at all.
No. It's hard. It's this is the part of life that we love.
And so what would you say to like other people that are thinking of starting out, like particularly with market gardening, but also with like social things and events, like Sweden's a particularly hard place to make economy work, and you guys are doing it and enjoying it and obviously like totally committed to what you're doing. Like, have you got any advice for people that are starting out or want to start out with that?
Go nuts.
There's all the harvesting. Look at the beautiful clear water under there. So you're saying it multiplies, double itself every week basically? That's awesome. These guys have got these big commercial chillers just for €50 each. It fits 7 of the grey crates up, but look at these beautiful hackeri. They've been serving them up flea beetle free, serving them like little Japanese candies, and talking about, Ozin's a chef, so he's talking about putting them up with some sweet syrup from some herbs like basil. Could be like a delicacy for dessert. Well, you know me, I'm into low-cost solutions, and these guys are rocking it with their bubblers and their second-hand fridges that they're getting from around the area. Got a little drying rack here, and taking some of the work out with their self-service, and that works really well around here. Really nice people in this area and who are really appreciative of the sort of quality produce. These guys have got a nice big blue handle for their watering of veg. This is something we'll be stocking in our store. Nice heavy-duty rubberized handle with adjustable spray, which is perfect for washdown, so we'll be serving that too. And nice little simple setup for washdown. They've got a drain in the old barn floor here, and so this is a work in progress. They have this barn that comes with the property, and they're just slowly doing it up, but a lot of space up here to do all kinds of stuff with as well. So speaking with Robin, he's hoping to be able to buy this place. It's leased for a peppercorn lease at the moment, but they're looking to buy this place one day, and I think they deserve to. They do an amazing job.
Jag är glad. Ja, jag går över. Ska du se det? Jo, men det är fint.
So basically the farm stall is open 2 till 6, but it's self-service, so people come. There's a gentleman with his child on a bike, and they just come and self-serve. So I just bumped into Simone, who's a very important part of this place too. I was just on my way out, but I wonder if you want to say anything a bit about your role here.
Growing vegetables under the tallarna and odling, but I also want to work with this platform next year. We really want to invite people. We really want people to see where your food is grown. We want people to have a place where we can talk about these questions, because there is no places like this.
You're not taking money off those people. You're hosting them for social cohesion, etc. So the EU funding would give you a salary for running those projects, basically.
Yeah.
So that would then make this place more complete financially. Yeah. So,
but it's sad that you need to go that way to.
Well, unless you grow a lot more vegetables.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I really want to work with these questions more than I want to grow a
Just
lot
grow
of vegetables. So it's a good situation. The coming 2 years.
Well, it was really good to just meet Simone before I left, because she was expressing a bit of frustration around it being challenging to make a living as a farmer, and whilst they're doing really well economically here, it's not enough for their 3 salaries, so having to take another vegetable growing job on outside to pay the bills is really tough. Now, there's a few things to think about that, and I think it's important to share this kind of thing. One is that, when you start to farm commercially, you're competing in a globalized food market, albeit, we're in a niche market where we can outcompete conventional farms on freshness, locality and quality, potentially. It is tough because people have become used to going to the supermarket and getting all kinds of deals and subsidized foodstuffs, often run by ag school, like some of the veg growing productions in England, for example. The ag school students are doing 16-hour days cutting celery, and you've got to be able to cut and pack like 4 or 5 celery every minute for 16 hours, so you're competing against this kind of operation. And I think it's an interesting thing to consider what their options are in that way, because they are right outside Stockholm. The marketplace is there's no doubt about that. So I would consider a few things, and I mentioned a few of them, but I think I would like to go back over the winter and offer my time to support them and help if I can, which I've extended to them, and then we'll see. But basically I think they should shave off some of their crops and grow things that are profitable for them. They can definitely scale up greens. Now, they don't want to just be growing greens and microgreens or whatever. But the reality is, if they need more economy, they do need to specialize and cut some of the crops out that aren't working well for them. And then the other thing is to consider winter growing, things like microgreens. And they can sell microgreens. At times they're selling micros for double the price we can sell out here. And they have a massive marketplace on their doorstep. So I think there's scope for actually turning over a lot more sales without increasing beds. Now, they've got 1,300 square meters. Now, I would not anticipate that being enough for more than one person's salary in Sweden, or a family salary, you could say. But it's certainly not going to pay out 3 full salaries. It's only 7 months of the year for a start. Maybe 8 months, they're pushing it there. They're in a slightly warmer climate zone. But basically, I think they would need to double their bed space if they wanted to all get a salary out, plus this EU leader funding for the social work they do. And that's really, they are doing amazing work, bringing a lot of people together on that site. It's a really busy place. I've been there when it's full of people coming through. But maybe they need to pull the reins on some of that to constrict where people can and can't come in, because it takes up so much time to host people, and they do a really good job. They're really social and they're really amazing people, and it does take up masses of time when you have unexpected visitors all the time. Now I think they're always going to get that at that place. It's that kind of feeling in the community around there. But I think they could find a better way to get the economy out of that too. Now, you know, it's a lot of work to host and care for a space that is not bringing you money, and that is what the EU funding will do. But I think there could be a way to capitalize on all that they're bringing people on top of that too. I think it's a really great project. They're doing really good. It's been a very challenging year, and yet they're still up in their sales, which I haven't managed to do. We've dropped sales from the drought. But I think that, yeah, a little bit more tweaking of their crops, and maybe considering some different tools so that they could increase the bed sizes without actually having to do loads more work. It was smart the way they do their insect nets, but I think better seeding tools, and considering like how to be able to plant twice as much in the same time. Thanks so much for showing us around, guys. That's super cool. I hope you folks enjoyed that. Where can people follow you if they want to see more?
Yeah, the garden is on Instagram, in the Tallarna.
And you're on Facebook also?
Yes.
So we'll stick the links in below. Thanks so much for watching, folks, and thanks for you guys for sharing.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.